In this video, we're going to talk about 21 things that you need to know about living in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
What's up, everyone? This is Benjamin and Brian Tercero, and we're the Tercero agency right here in the beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico. Now, if this is your first time on this channel, we're here to get you educated on what it's like to be a Santa Fe local. So make sure that you tap that subscribe button so that you're notified every time we release a new video.
We are born and raised in Santa Fe, and our families have been enjoying the city different for generations. Moving to a new town can be scary, but we are here to help you make that move just a little bit easier. So, here are 21 things that you need to know about Santa Fe if you're considering making a move here. Let's get started. First thing on our list about Santa Fe that you might not already know is that Santa Fe is the highest and oldest capital city in all of the United States. Situated at 7,000 feet above sea level in the foothills of the Southern Rocky Mountains and founded between the years 1607 and 1610, it's America's second oldest city. And you heard me right, you'll be more than a mile high when walking around our historic streets. So be sure to drink lots of water while visiting here. So how did Santa Fe become the nation's oldest capital? Well, over its 400-plus year history, Santa Fe has always been a commercial center, a place where goods and services were made and traded. 6 decades of the Santa Fe Trail cemented Santa Fe's reputation as the commercial capital of Mexico's northern border. And following New Mexico's incorporation as a U.S. state in the year 1911, Santa Fe became the state capital of New Mexico. Today, Santa Fe has a small-town atmosphere, but it is also internationally known for its culture, its artistry, and architectural sophistication.
All right, number 2, you need to know the difference between Santa Fe the city and Santa Fe the county, because you might be looking for homes in Santa Fe County thinking that you're way closer to town than you actually are. So Santa Fe County, it covers a lot of territory, from Edgewood to Nambe. Now that means that you can technically live in Santa Fe County, but be up to 45 minutes away from the city. And maybe that's exactly what you want. That living in the country vibe with expansive starry skies and a 1 hour or more round trip to get some groceries or a delicious Lottaburger. Oh, and we will talk more about Lottaburger in future videos. Don't worry about that. Now, living in the county, it doesn't always mean that you're way out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you can find some great properties right outside of the city limits. The only other thing to consider, though, is that living outside of the city does have implications for your utility setup. So county living will very likely mean that your house is on a well and septic, and you may end up with propane instead of natural gas. These are all things to consider when looking for a home in the Santa Fe area.
And number 3, let's talk about Santa Fe's awards and accolades. Look, there's a reason why people continue to flock to Santa Fe. I've even heard some call it the last best place on earth. Every single year, Santa Fe is honored with a host of awards and recognition for one of the best places to visit. So let's go down the list. Condé Nast Traveler ranked Santa Fe as the number 4 city in their Reader's Choice Awards for the category of Top 10 Small Cities in the U.S. 4 Santa Fe hotels were honored on Reader's Choice Awards list for Top 20 hotels in the Southwest and West. They also awarded 10,000 Waves Japanese Spa and Resort as one of the top spa resorts in the United States. Retired Better Now selected Santa Fe as one of the best 21 places to retire in 2021. Santa Fe also made Time Magazine's list of the world's greatest places in 2021. Town & Country Magazine selected Santa Fe as one of the top 9 best places to visit in November. The city of Santa Fe was recognized as the number 2 best city on the top 15 cities in the United States list in 2021 by Travel + Leisure World's Best Awards. 2 of Santa Fe restaurants placed in the top 25 on TripAdvisor's Travelers list of best fine dining. This is the entire United States. Sazon ranked at number 4 and Geronimo at number 11. In the USA Today Top 10 Best list, the Best Reader's Choice poll, the Santa Fe Farmers Market was voted as the number 6 best farmers market in America. The Santa Fe's Railyard Arts District was voted as the number 9 best arts district in America. The Meow Wolf House of Eternal Return was voted as the number 6 best immersive art experiences. The Institute of American Indian Arts Museum of Contemporary Art in Santa Fe was voted at the number 3 spot for best art museums in 2021. The Santa Fe Plaza was voted as the number 3 best public square. Kakawa Chocolate House was ranked as one of the top best hot chocolates across the United States. Don't let those young whippersnappers ever convince you that there's nothing to do in Santa Fe. Oh, and one more. The Santa Fe Margarita Trail was listed as the #1 spot on BuzzFeed's list of the 21 booze-filled experiences in the US for anyone who likes to drink every now and then. Look, I can do this all day, but my brother on the other side of the camera is telling me to hurry it up because he has a lot of editing to do.
Okay, number 4. Santa Fe is a paradise for pets. We have dog parks, tons of walking trails, great groomers, and pet-friendly hotels and restaurants. It's pretty much uncommon to see people who don't have at least one pet here. And don't be surprised when you see someone walking around with 4 dogs at a time. See, with the constant sunshine, the crisp air, and open spaces, your pets are gonna love it here.
And number 5. Santa Fe looks beautiful any time of the year, but in the spring, we have all the beautiful fruit trees that bloom. Apricots, apples, cherries, plum, pear, and all kinds of flowers blossoms. They burst out with old adobe structures as their background. The transition from summer to fall is spectacular. The huge aspen groves in the Sangre de Cristos begin to turn, and the cottonwood trees along the Santa Fe River downtown shortly follow. If watching autumn leaves is one of your things, the fall is truly one of the most beautiful times to visit here.
Okay, number 6, Zozobra. The burning of Zozobra is one of the most unique cultural events here in Santa Fe, and it happens every year on the Friday of Labor Day weekend as we're closing out the last days of summer. As Zozobra, it was created by a man named Will Schuster, one of the Los Cinco Pintores, a group of artists who came through New Mexico in the 1920s. It started in 1924 as a 6-foot effigy burning in Schuster's backyard, and now it's grown into this towering 50-foot high marionette that shouts at the crowd. Zozobra is said to be the enemy of all things good, and he's out to still the very hope of the city. It's the citizens' misdeeds that bring him back year after year, but on this night we gather to invite the fire spirit to burn him up along with all of our gloom. This is such a fun event as the entire community just yells, "Burn him, burn him, burn him," and then we all watch that giant puppet go up in flames with fireworks and smoke all around him. You have to go see it for yourself.
Okay, number 7. And this is our haunted hotels. And since Benjamin just talked about the burning of Zozobra, which may have sent a chill or two down your spine, Zozobra also marks the kickoff for our fall events and straight into spooky season. And for all you paranormal fans, we have our share of scary stories. Santa Fe is old, like really old. You know that a town with over 400 years of history is going to have some skeletons in its closet, or in some cases, ghosts in its hallways. The La Fonda Hotel in the Plaza has been named one of the most haunted hotels by the Historic Hotels of America. According to legend, the Honorable John P. Slow got into a deadly argument in the hotel's lobby in 1867, which ended in a shooting, and it's said that the ghost of Judge Slow is still wandering the hotel grounds. He's not alone. There's also the ghost of a young bride who was murdered on her wedding night by an ex-lover, and some have seen her haunting room 510, the hotel's wedding suite. Meanwhile, sightings of a distraught businessman have been spotted in the La Plazuela restaurant, the former site of an old well. Legend says the businessman jumped into the well after gambling away his company's earnings, and his spirit has been trapped ever since. Once you're done chasing ghosts at La Fonda, you can go up the block to La Posada and look for the spirit of Julia Staub. Staub, who died in 1896, began appearing on La Posada's staircase and in her second-floor suite in the 1970s. It's so famous now that you can actually book the Julia Staub ghost package and spend a night in her room. And most recently, at our newly renovated hotel, the Drury Hotel downtown. Well, it used to be an old hospital, and then it was an old nursing home. I still remember visiting the elderly with my grandma at this place. First time I stayed in one of their rooms, the imagery of the elderly was always in my head. There are reports of people hearing babies cry at night. The rooms are empty, noises of children running down the hallways after hours. There's some strange phenomenon going on, specifically in room 311. The Drury management said that when they rebuilt the old St. Vincent's Hospital, they are going to lay to rest all the ghost stories from room 311. Curiously, they did it by sealing the room up. You're probably going to want to check this out for yourself. Be sure to bring a guest, just in case.
All right, number 8. When you go to a restaurant, you will be asked a question when ordering your food. If you do not know how to answer this question, it's because you are very clearly not from here. So let me save you the awkwardness and the embarrassment and the glaring dirty looks from the waiter or waitress, because you're supposed to know what they're talking about. The question goes like this: red, green, or Christmas? And this is where you blankly stare back confused about why you're being asked about Christmas when it's freaking July. What they're talking about is the most important food group in existence, chili. They're asking if you want red chili, green chili, or both on your food. Get it? Red and green equals Christmas, you get it. My advice, if you aren't used to the spice, get both on the side and see what you think. If you love spice, then just smother your food in both like I do. Seriously, when I eat at a restaurant, my food is practically swimming in chili. The more the merrier. Did you catch that? Stupid Christmas joke again? Now, you need to understand that chili is our pride. People will fight you if you disrespect their chili. And let's be clear, this isn't that Texas tomato sauce y'all call chili. No, this is locally grown, authentic chili with an E that makes New Mexico the best food in the world. And no, Colorado chili doesn't even come close.
Number 9, let's talk about breakfast burritos. This is one of Santa Fe's staple breakfast items. You can find one of these wonderful, protein-packed, cheesy, gooey deliciousness at almost every place in town. The restaurants all have their own spin on it, but it's basically scrambled eggs, cooked potatoes, bacon, chopped green chili, and shredded cheese, all wrapped in a fresh flour tortilla. And Benjamin just coached you how to order it. Red chili, green chili, or order it with Christmas and get the best of both worlds. Feeling brave? Ask them to smother it with your favorite chili. And if you're in a hurry, just grab it to go and get on your hike. When you get settled into Santa Fe, you're quickly going to find your favorite version of the breakfast burrito, and you'll keep going back for more.
All right, number 10, our farmers market in the Railyard district is another must-do. It was actually rated one of the top 10 farmers markets by Sunset Magazine, like Brian had already told you. We have over 150 local farmers bringing in all sorts of products from 15 different counties. On Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can walk the Railyard and pick up fresh produce, delicious honey to battle those allergies, some fresh chili, or just grab a beer at one of our local breweries. Plus, they have events and live music happening side by side most all the time, so it's always a good time.
Number 11, cultural diversity. Because of our rich history and origins as a trading town, we've always had a diverse population. Santa Fe is going to have a vibe that you just can't find in many other places. Santa Fe is home to several indigenous Native American tribes, mixed with the original Spanish settlers trading out of Mexico throughout the United States, and the Caucasian influence as travelers continued to discover the West and made it their home. You can see the diversity everywhere you look. Over the years, our ways of life, our architecture, our food, our culture, they've blended together into something completely unique. Regardless of where people came from, they all embraced the history and the beauty of this town and worked to preserve it. We've been trying to keep it from getting washed out like so many other cities around the country. And as a native of Santa Fe and coming from a multi-generational Santa Fe family, I can tell you that we are proud of our history, of working together, and sharing our love and appreciation of our hometown with others.
All right, number 12. What you need to know is that Santa Fe is a small town. We have a population of less than 100,000 people in the city limits and less than 150,000 throughout the entire county. This isn't LA or New York. Santa Fe is a place to slow down. Now, if you decide you just need that big city feel every now and then, we do have a few nightclubs, but the majority of that can be found in Albuquerque, which is only about a 50-minute drive away, and it's way bigger than Santa Fe, more than 10 times bigger as a matter of fact. So, make it a night on the town. Go hit some clubs, get yourself an Uber, and book a sweet hotel for the night. Or you could just hit the Margarita Trail here in Santa Fe, which is my preference by far.
Number 13, the weather. The climate has always been one of the top reasons people have come to Santa Fe and why they've stayed here. On average, there are 325 sunny days per year in Santa Fe. The US average is only 205 sunny days. If you're coming from a place like Seattle where all you see is rain clouds almost every single day, you're going to be in for a real treat. Vast blue skies with sometimes only a single cloud floating by. The weather is addicting, and us Santa Feans spend a lot of time outdoors enjoying our fresh, clean air.
All right, number 14, air quality. Santa Fe has been ranked as having some of the cleanest air in the world. So for those of you that are used to breathing in the smog of factories and constant traffic, then our clear skies and crisp air are going to be a treat for you and for your lungs. Especially when you hike up into the mountains, that air is on another level.
Number 15, outdoor activities. So we have the weather, we have some of the cleanest air in the world. What would you do with it? Well, that's right, we're gonna go play outside. Santa Fe has an amazing array of outdoor activities to enjoy. If you love to hike, Mountain bike, golf, white river raft, ski, fly fish, big game hunt, or explore ancient ruins on foot, Santa Fe is the place for you. Our Dale Ball Trail system is a nearly 25-mile network of natural surface trails for hikers and bicyclists in the foothills of the mountains, providing ample terrain for you to explore for both beginners and more advanced explorers. We're also surrounded by national forest and national parks. One example is Bandelier National Monument, which protects over 33,000 acres of rugged but beautiful canyon and mesa country, as well as evidence of a human presence going back over 11,000 years. Petroglyphs, dwellings carved into the soft rock and cliffs, and standing masonry walls pay tribute to the early days of a culture that still survives in the surrounding communities.
All right, number 16. We do not have our own major league sports teams. No NBA or NFL or MLB or NHL. We just don't have major league sports in New Mexico. Not yet anyways. But what we do have is pretty awesome still. We have the Isotopes in Albuquerque, which is our minor league baseball team, and those games are a lot of fun to go to. I'll be honest though, I've never been a huge baseball fan, but soccer on the other hand. You see, we have the best USLC soccer team around, New Mexico United. Now, these are the games to go to, in my opinion. We get loud and proud at these games, and the fan base is second to none. We will outshout any crowd any day. Also, if the other team happens to have a player that fakes a foul and rolls on the floor for a bit, you know what I'm talking about. We all chant pobrecito, which basically means poor baby in Spanish. It's funny.
Number 17, let's talk about the Santa Fe Opera. I know you sports fans are still trying to get over not having a professional sports team in town to go watch, but that doesn't mean we can't have some pre-game tailgating at the Opera. Say what? Tailgating at the Opera. It's true. The Santa Fe Opera is known worldwide for its contribution to a living art form and for the passion it inspires in performers and audiences alike. And right before every single performance, our opera buffs know how to party. Tailgating at the Opera is a summer tradition that never grows old. You're going to see everything out there, from a couple having a picnic out of the back of their vehicle to groups of friends having white tablecloth catered meals right in the parking lot. All level of tailgating here. Bow ties, ball gowns, champagne and hors d'oeuvres, to barbecue and a beer.
Numero 18, music. On top of the Opera, Santa Fe has a solid local musician base, and we love our concerts. With different size venues all over the city, we have live music happening year-round. And we've had Doja Cat at Meow Wolf, which is one of the coolest little concert spots you'll ever see. The National played at the Opera House recently, and so much more. Now, between venues like Tumbleroot, Cowgirl, the Santa Fe Plaza, the Lenzik, and even Museum Hill, just to name a few, there's a constant stream of more intimate concerts where the audience is able to feel more connected to the artists and to their music. Now, if you want to see the Chris Stapletons, John Mayer's, Maroon 5s, and Dave Matthews bands, then we still got you covered with Albuquerque's Isleta Amphitheater, where the big name bands come and they rock our socks off. A drink is a measly $15 a piece, and everyone just dances the night away. So make sure you get lawn tickets though, because it makes for a better experience. Plus, you'll want to park in the back to avoid getting stuck in the end of the show traffic jam. Or you could just avoid all of that and just stick with the Santa Fe scene.
Number 19 is our art scene. Santa Fe tops the list for most vibrant art scenes regardless of community size. Artists, writers, designers, galleries, museums, and thriving art markets continue to boost the city's reputation and appeal. Time and time again, Santa Fe comes in at the top of the rankings. Santa Fe's art community spans generations, from some of the best and most prestigious art markets in the world to an eclectic mix of galleries. The city difference, rich history, and modern flair are on full display at our annual art markets. From July's International Folk Art Market and the vibrant Spanish Market to the celebration of Santa Fe's native history at the Indian Market in August. They are an experience not to be missed, and if you are a fine art collector, you're going to want to take a stroll down one of the oldest and most famous streets, Canyon Road. Canyon Road is a magical half-mile in the historic district of Santa Fe. People stroll through this picturesque trail to experience fine art, great shopping, and exquisite dining any day of the week. Where else in the world will you find an entire street dedicated to the country's best art? You will be able to see some of the finest art from artists throughout the United States and the world, all in one place.
All right, number 20. Santa Fe is a historic town with very deep roots. We've been talking about it a lot. Santa Fe was established as a small community 13 years before the Pilgrims settled the Plymouth colony on the East Coast. And while Santa Fe was inhabited on a very small scale in 1607, it was truly settled by the conquistador Don Pedro de Peralta around 1610. Santa Fe is the site of both the oldest public building in America, the Palace of the Governors, and the nation's oldest community celebration, the Santa Fe Fiesta, which was established in 1712 to commemorate the Spanish conquest of New Mexico in the summer of 1692. Peralta and his men laid out the plan for Santa Fe at the base of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, on what was the site of an ancient Pueblo Indian ruin of Caupogue, or place of shell beads near the water. And that's just the European take on Santa Fe history. See, the Pueblo Indians, they date back way further to as early as the year 800 in the Common Era and have a rich history of their own throughout all of the Southwest. Now, of course, there are mixed feelings and competing narratives about all of this, but that's part of what makes the history of Santa Fe so complex, but also so intriguing. Now, like I mentioned a moment ago, Santa Fe is home to the oldest public building in the entire United States. According to oral tradition, the San Miguel Church was built sometime between 1610 and 1626. The building was partially destroyed in the Pueblo Revolt and was then again restored in 1710 by Don Diego de Vargas. The building has been upkept for centuries and is one of the best examples of adobe architecture in all of Santa Fe. Not to mention the gorgeous artwork throughout the church dating back to the 1700s. We also have what is called the oldest house here in Santa Fe, which is located at 215 East de Vargas Street. The actual history of this home is a bit dicey, and an original build date hasn't really been established. It is believed that the home was built during the Spanish colonial period in the mid-1700s, which makes it not the oldest house. Although sections of the house do appear to point back to Puebloan architectural styles that go back way earlier. Some have even suggested as early as the 1200s. Now, there's a lot of debate about this, but what can't be denied is the beauty and the history that can just be felt at the home. It's definitely a must-see.
And for our final and 21st thing that we want you to know about Santa Fe is that if you haven't been here during the holidays, you're missing out on possibly the most magical time of the year here. All 4 seasons in Santa Fe are wonderful, but there's something extra special about Christmas in Santa Fe. 2 New Mexican decorating traditions that make the holidays in Santa Fe so unique are that we use farolitos and luminarias in our decor. Translated to English, farolito means little lanterns, and luminarias, festival lights. Let's talk about farolitos first. They're made by folding down the sides of a small paper bag, adding a scoop of sand, and striking a match to a tea light anchored by the sand. Now, if you've seen our famous Santa Fe style Pueblo architecture, you know how all the buildings have various elevations, portals, multiple levels that look very similar to the pueblos inhabited by the first Native Americans. Now imagine thousands of these farolitos or little lanterns lining the rooftops, the walkways, terraces, and entire city streets. When the sun goes down and the stars come out, the city glows with the warm light of the candles, and it's an experience you're never going to forget. On Christmas Eve, you can walk along Canyon Road and enjoy the luminarias, which are small bonfires constructed from piñon logs that add Christmas spirit while filling the air with a festive, piney smell. Enjoy festive citizens who stand around to keep warm, sing Christmas carols, and enjoy each other's company. We also have the annual tree lighting on the historic plaza, where we all go out and count down together to light up the plaza lights and kick off the holiday season. The holidays in New Mexico are steeped in rich traditions, especially when it comes to our food. For centuries, celebratory dishes have included pozole, carne adobada, enchiladas, and tamales, made by families in villages across the region to celebrate Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's. For dessert, bizcochitos, anise-flavored cookies, are a traditional Christmas treat. They're made with lard and dusted with cinnamon sugar. When New Mexico became the first state to officially appoint a state cookie, it was the bizcochito that received that honor. The cookie dates to the 16th century Spain's mantecosas, which means buttery. Christmas in Santa Fe is a must.
So that's just a bit more that you need to know about Santa Fe. If you're thinking about moving or relocating to Santa Fe, make sure that you give us a call, shoot us a text or an email, or just leave us a comment in the videos.
However you want to get a hold of us, we're here to serve you in your move to the Santa Fe area. Let us be your guide.